Welcome, friends, to Possible by Design, where we want you to live well and for all of us to act wisely and shape the future. In this video, Possible by Design invites you to participate in our Earth Day Challenge. Climate change. You care, and you've likely already seen firsthand some of the impacts. You may even worry more about those impacts than you'd like. If you haven't been taking much action on climate, it might be because of three completely reasonable concerns. This problem is too big. We can't actually get all the way there. Even if we could, it would result in financial hardship. And finally, even if it's affordable, others won't act and will be left at a competitive disadvantage. The result, as you know, we're headed toward a planet with average warming, a planet where we know that we will face many adverse changes, like the ones listed here. These three big concerns are preventing us from getting to the planet we want, where what we take, make, and waste stays in harmony with what the Earth can replenish, restore, and renew. So let's unpack those valid concerns and see where things are really at. First of all, we're worried that we can't get all the way to zero. The good news is that we have emission reduction solutions like wind, solar, nuclear, and geothermal energy that can get us almost all the way to zero. But what you might not know is that we also have many new solutions to permanently remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Pairing emissions reduction with carbon removal is sometimes called do our best, remove the rest. Together, they get us all the way to zero. And permanent carbon removal also caps the cost for hard to decarbonize sectors and brings down the total cost, bringing us the potential to save the world trillions of dollars per year. Per product costs are also brought down, with most products costing about 2% more when we decarbonize them. This means that for the first time in history, a complete solution is within reach, which changes the picture. You can find many resources on our website that walk through the solutions and the math. Next, the concern that even if we could solve it, it would bring financial hardship. The reality is that we are already bearing the costs that would exceed the cost of action. Like frogs in boiling water, we're experiencing these costs through increased insurance premiums and increased taxation so that our governments can respond to disasters, cover what private insurers won't, like flood and fire risks, and gear up defense budgets to manage security risks. All of this alongside the background hum of anxiety that also doesn't help solve the problem. When we start cleaning up our mess by doing our best and removing the rest, most products will cost about 2% more. A cup of coffee, 12 cents more. A mobile phone, $10 more. That's the full bill. But instead of solving it, today you're just paying more in insurance and taxes, different channels that do nothing to solve the problem and simply keep going up over time. Finally, the concern that even if it's affordable, others won't act and will be left at a disadvantage. This is a really important concern. We have a global village and a global marketplace. No one wants to disadvantage their own industries. There are answers to this too. First, decarbonization requirements need to get started low and ramp up gently over time, with everyone beginning to adjust together slowly. Second, countries need to implement cross-border adjustment mechanisms, or CBAMs, so that it's a fair playing field. Good news, the European Union has already started and CBAM mechanisms exist. Third, we need to recognize that as we work together, the end state is that most products cost about 2% more. We can make sure that we have the same implementation, use CBAMs to level the playing field, and know that the outlier cost risk is small. What does that mean about the paths before us? It means that we can put a blocker on that hotter path by knowing that we finally know how to get there, that my family is already paying more for the cost of inaction, and that we can control the fairness. But how do we bridge across if we have the tools and we know that a silent supermajority already wants us? We're just missing the visible signal that asks our decision makers to take smart action. To bridge across, we need to recognize that climate change is not a moral failure. It's a systemic failure, a broken system. And for that, we need a system fix. The single most impactful thing any one person can do for the climate, more than any individual lifestyle change, is to send one 5-minute email to your federal representative. We have a template ready with the 4 no-cost smart policy actions, like requiring climate footprint labels on products, that address the broken system and make this happen. One 5-minute email to your representative, and then we invite you to take the rest of the year off from the weight and worry, knowing that you did the most impactful thing that you can do for future generations. Okay, that makes sense, but if you're like me, you had never written to your representative before. You might wonder, will my name go on a public roster? The answer is no. For all of the countries listed on the Earth Day Challenge page, emails to representatives are treated as private correspondence. Moreover, representatives receive many emails from constituents annually. It's a normal part of how government works. Okay, but you might wonder, will it really make a difference? Despite being a normal part of how government works, typically far less than 1% of people write in from a riding or district. That means your message carries more weight than you might expect. Representatives keep tallies of topics that people write in about. Even one message adds a new issue to that list, and more people from a district or riding raises the priority. And when more representatives hear about a topic, they can work together to advocate for change. Okay, count me in and increment the counter on your website. I sent my email. But what if I still want to do more to get to this balanced world? Of course, you're most welcome and encouraged. Every action becomes extra icing on the cake that you can feel good about in 2026. We have lots of ideas, including sharing the Earth Day Challenge with others in your country and elsewhere, or logging the extra work you do in the Planetary Action Atlas. You might continue to learn and share what you learn with others, or simply continue to make positive choices to reduce your own footprint. There you have it, the Earth Day Challenge. On behalf of all of us at Possible by Design, thank you for adding your voice for today's planet and for future generations.